Order. Question number 2, Jami-Lee Ross.
Mr Speaker, my question is to the Minister of Finance and asks, what reports has he received on the strength of the New Zealand economy?
Point of order, Grant Robertson.
I'm sorry to interrupt the member, Mr Speaker. Could you advise the House whether you've been advised of any change in warrants from the Finance Minister that we have had up until today to today? Mr English is, as far as we know, still the Finance Minister.
I will hear from the Honourable Jerry Brownlee.
Mr Speaker, you'll be aware that post-events that saw the change in leadership earlier this week, the Honourable Bill English resigned as Minister of Finance and therefore Minister Joyce is acting Minister of Finance.
Order. And anticipating the point may be raised, I did source the ministerial list dated the 12th of December, and Mr English has relinquished the finance portfolio, and at this stage the Honourable Stephen Joyce is the acting Minister of Finance. And order, and for the benefit of the member, if I refer him then to Speaker's ruling 1927, he will see that indeed the acting minister must now answer question number 2. The Honourable Stephen Joyce.
Mr Speaker, on Friday, Moody's reaffirmed our AAA stable rating and the strength of the New Zealand economy. Moody's issuer comment references last week's Haifu release, which supports their view that New Zealand's public finances are very strong and highlights the importance of ongoing expenditure restraint in ensuring a sound financial position. Moody's also notes New Zealand's track record of policy predictability and effectiveness and the government's ability to implement policies and reforms that foster economic growth. Finally, Mr Speaker, Moody's forecasts a smooth political transition with a continuation of the policies that have created this strong economic position.
Supplementary question, Jami-Lee Ross.
What is the economic outlook according to last week's forecast from the Treasury?
The Honourable Stephen Joyce.
Mr Speaker, last week's half-year update confirms a strengthening outlook for the New Zealand economy. Real GDP growth is expected to average around 3% over the next 5 years. Unemployment is forecast to fall to 4.3%. Another 150,000 jobs are forecast to be created over the 4-year period on top of the 200,000 new jobs in the economy since 2014. Average wages are expected to continue rising faster than inflation, up another 7,500 to 66,000 by 2020-2021. This is a government that's committed to building on 8 years of hard work, delivering real results for New Zealanders and their families.
Supplementary.
Order. Supplementary question, Jami-Lee Ross.
How is New Zealand placed to deal with any risks in the global economic environment?
The Honourable Stephen Joyce.
Mr Speaker, New Zealand is well placed. The Haifu shows net debt peaked as a proportion of our economy in 2015-16, a year earlier than previously expected, and is projected to fall to around 18.8% of GDP by 2020-21. That puts us in a strong position to deal with any shocks in what is still an uncertain global environment or further natural disasters like those we've seen in Canterbury and Kaikoura. It puts us in a particularly strong position when compared with what's happening internationally, where debt levels in Europe and the US are many times what they are here. Mr Speaker, this positive position is a testament to the strong economic management of our former Prime Minister John Key and our current Prime Minister Bill English.
Supplementary.
Supplementary question, Jami-Lee Ross.
To the Minister of Finance, what are the fiscal priorities of the government?
The Honourable Stephen Joyce.
Well, Mr Speaker, the government's economic and fiscal priorities remain unchanged. While last week's Haifu is forecasting the positive performance of the New Zealand economy to carry on, it's important that we continue to keep on top of spending and pay down debt in strong economic times. We will build on our strength as a diversifying economy with a safe, stable and secure business environment focused on attracting investment and growing innovation in the economy. We'll continue to strongly advocate for free trade, recognising that New Zealand's interests are best served by being an open trading economy. and will continue to provide strong and stable government for New Zealand.
Supplementary question, David Seymour.
In his pre-scripted answer to that question, did he forget to mention cutting tax and letting hard-working New Zealanders keep more of their own money?
The order, the Honourable Stephen Joyce.
Mr Speaker, as the member I'm sure knows because he's a good student of politics, the government has a range of fiscal priorities which include paying down debt, investing in infrastructure, investing in public services and considering the tax burden on hard-working New Zealanders. The exact shape of those will be considered over time, but politicians should always remember that the money they have to spend comes from hard-working Kiwi families.
Question